topic suggestion here. Shouts to Archbishop. I believe that's the flood.
Great name.
This is kind of related to what we were talking about earlier too. It says traditional multi-instrumentalist versus today's sample pack bread maker. Is the construction of the song as equally as important as the finished product? Is it fair for musicians to look down on those who lack chops and use samples to get out their ideas?
I used to be growing up involved in music and playing multiple instruments and learning how to read music and all that. I can admit, we talking about admitting when you were wrong earlier. I was a music snob as it related to that because of the time I put in to learn and, learn how to do all that stuff. As the older I got, I started to move away from that because I know everybody has to express their freedom how they want to. So I can't be out here, just pointing my finger down at everybody that's not doing it the way I would, per se, how I would like to do it.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be that guy. But there was a snob in me for a while because I know, what it took to learn those instruments and the time that it took to practice and learn how to read and sight read and all. It takes a lot to do that stuff. So, that's where I was at with it. But I've come out of that now. I used to be that person, but it didn't really bother me like it used to. I'll be honest. But that question there, I would have went off if it was, X amount of years ago. 100%.
Yeah, I feel like, I've always felt like it's one of those things where sampling in general just kind of gets
watered down.
Well, historically, there was a big push for people to even accept sampling as like this
an art form.
Yeah, like an art form or whatnot, And I come from being able to play instruments as well, so it's I see the background of. I feel like two things can be true at the same time. I feel like that's like my mantra of 2022, but it's like.
Sampling is hard now. Be clear. It's not.
Yeah. Like,
what I mean? It's
hard.
hard.
It takes a lot to be good at sampling. It takes a lot to be good at playing any particular instrument. Not even talking about playing multiple instruments on top of that, right? And to be able to play those instruments the way that makes sense for them. I don't like the idea of looking down on somebody who is an expert at their craft. So if you're an expert at sampling, then you're great. If you're an expert at playing the trumpet or the keys or whatever, then you're great. I don't really see, towards the last few years, I don't really see as many people that are like making that claim of like, you still see it here and there, but it's just, I think you just have to be super talented. What I will say is that musicians or samplers, if you will, music producers that can play instruments and can sample tend to be better at both.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree.
People that have a deep understanding. It's not just about being able to play an instrument. It's about understanding the theory, about understanding how to add any type of sound on top of what you're already sampling and everything like that too.
Chord progressions, how they work.
Going from different keys to another key and how to get in and out of it and stuff like that.
And now the reason I love this question is because he nailed it. There are, Alona can attest to this, there are programs now that have cut that entire portion of it out. Like there are literally programs now that will say, okay, I'm going to set you in this key right here and you can go and play and do whatever you want. You'll never come out of key.
Yep.
There are a musician is thinking, I have to make sure I'm in the right key. One wrong note and I'm out of the key. They've eliminated that. So then it goes back to the purist conversation and all that, because I enjoy working with producers or musicians. To me, the nerd in me, I love that. So if there's a bass player or somebody that plays keys or something like that, I get excited because I can't wait to get it all back and see how they took my vision and what they did with it, and then I can start doing this. I love that.
Because it's always different, and they always take it somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
And I do think the the aspect to that, I feel like the tools that have been created, like now in Ableton, you can literally say, what key do you want to play in? You can be like, all right, C sharp. You can be like, all right, do you want to be in minor, major, or one of the other bazillion that, you know, that are super advanced? You can set it, and then all the grids will literally highlight of what's in key. Now, that's cool if you want to stay in a key, but it does take out the element of like being able to know it, and to be able to hear it, and to be able to create and be able to bend the rules like in real time a little bit. So I feel like it's more so like just a tool to help. It helps everybody.
It does.
But it really helps the people that already know it, because it's just a tool to help the workflow.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a good question.
That's a good question. Yeah,
You know,
very good.
But you know, at the end of the day, you know, do you make slaps?
Yeah.
Do you make slaps?
You know, I mean, I think
good?
you know
Is it good?
But also, you know, when you think about, and much of what Lone talked about, the reason the Neptunes have been able to do this for so long is because they are trained musicians.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So they know how to make slaps, and they know the science behind a slap.
that know how to sample as well. Like to his point, like they dibble and dabble in both. But but Jay Moore, you hit it on the nail on the head. Those guys are beasts in the studio, both of them.
You know,
Keys and all that type of stuff. They're
don't
nice.
like them.
but you know,
petty.
you look at it like this, you know, because of course I come from, even though I'm not, you know, technically a DJ, I come from the culture, and I remember when Serato came out, and it was like, oh, this is. There are a lot of people who fought. Now it's the industry standard. There are people who are like, this isn't DJing, you know, for you to not bring. But it was a lot of times it came from people who did not want to change, and just didn't want to buy a Mac computer.
I think Jazzy Jeff was cool with, like, I think he came out and was one of the ones that was like, all right,
because you know
evolution,
what,
like,
you know what,
he's
because
nice.
also
Sponsored by him too, I think, wasn't he?
Might have
yeah,
been.
but you know what? Also, Jazzy Jeff tour international. He was tired of having to check every DJ crate.
True.
When he was traveling,
that's a lot of weight.
That's a lot of extra stuff.
And he said he lost some crates too. I saw in the interview.
Exactly.
Sure.
That's just what happens. But you know, at a certain point, it did become the industry standard. But you know, like I'll tell people this anytime, like, you know, there are people like, okay, shout out to DJ Clark Kent. You know, when he shows up, he still wants there to be 1200s there. He needs this kind of mixer. You know, he doesn't want a controller there. And I'm telling you right now, you may have a purist standpoint as far as what's happening, as far as how you play and the tactile nature of what it is to DJ. But you know what? People just want to hear the songs that they want to hear. They don't care if you are playing them off vinyl, off a pair of 1200s that came out in the 1970s,
Fucking
and
Windows Media Player
in a Vestax
mixer
to
where
or
it
you're
sound
playing,
fly.
or you're playing on the new Rain situation, and it's not actually needles, and you got people play the songs people like. They don't care how it gets to them.
The DJs nerd out on that.
That is,
shit.
you know, sometimes you can get to a point where you're trying to impress the wrong people with what you're doing.
There's a lot of, I always ask, well, we've talked about this. You know, the homies out east, Terry, metronome people here. When you see the DJ that is the one that's just like, he's kind of getting by and doesn't care. Like it's almost like there's no consistent blend. It doesn't flow. It's like cut off, cut on, and it goes to the next record.
Train wrecking.
Is that what that's called? That's what y'all call that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Train wrecking, dropping bombs, doing
That's
glass.
gotta bother y'all, right?
In some places, that's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that does bother
Yeah,
me.
you can't do that here, though.
No, you can't do that here.
In the Midwest, you need to know how to blend records.
Nah, for real.
Okay. I was just
There's
checking.
places they don't care.
I don't even DJ and I can blend records.
Yeah.
I went to a wedding and somebody was doing that, and I thought about y'all. I'm like, this is so unacceptable. And the dance floor was crazy, and everybody was kicking. I'm like, no, there's something about this that don't feel right to me.
I'll never forget going
Feel right to
going
me.
to Tiki Bob's one of the first times I ever went. And this is like I didn't even live here then. And I remember walking in there and listening to the DJ just train wreck, and I'm like, this is even before I knew DJs. I was like, what is going on here?
What's going on?
Yeah.
You know when it's right. Everybody knows when it's
Now,
right.
I don't think that would get. I don't think that
Everybody
would.
doesn't
your
know.
ears.
I don't think that would get by nowadays.
It
But
hurts your ears, man. It's like it makes you cringe, damn near.
You know, because some people, they just get to talk. You know, they think, I don't know, I could go on and on.
Oh,
Right,
yeah, that's
right.
all-
But
yeah,
you know,
I
it's just, it's like, you know, when you hear a bad DJ, you have such an appreciation for good DJs. It's incredible.
Yeah, man.
DJing is one of the art forms that I respect. I highly respect.
Everybody
because I know.
can't do it too. That's the thing.
I highly respect DJs.
A lot of people think that they can just get some equipment and be a DJ.
They'll be like, I'm going to
I've seen it
download.
happen.
I'm going to download the songs that are hot on the radio right now. I'll be able to do
Yeah,
this.
But you know
It's
what?
like-
But you
I've
know,
seen it happen.
But you know what? You can't download practice.
Hey,
So what you can
Plug.
do is you can come
Plug
to
that.
Academics
Plug that.
There you
and
go.
come get nice.
There you go.
yeah,
I still need both
Shout out
of
to
those
Metronome.
shirts.
Got them at the
I
school.
just need to know what the price is.
Yeah, Jay
I think
Moore,
it's
ask
25.
Ask
Yeah.
Metronome. I told you in the chat. Ask me if he'll take food stamps. I need 2 of these. I need 1 of each.
You ain't
Where
no
you got
food
food
stamps.
stamps?
Or what they call a link card in Chicago.
You ain't
Is that what
got
they call
nothing.
it?
You ain't got a link
Don't
card.
worry about what I got. I'm
EBT?
asking you, will you take it? EBT? Y'all
No.
take it?
I'll take it. You selling it?
Yeah, you want some link?
Let me get some.
All right. We'll talk off air.
I like pig's feet. Hog maw.
maw.
Shrimp and steak off of the government.
They used to sell it on 69th and Ashland.
Man, I wish I
Sell
could get me a food stamp card or something.
Hey, you trying to copy the link? I used to hear that every day when I was at work.
Yep, I sure am.
Ebbet.
Let me get 200 for 100.
200 for 100.
I just spent $100 at Aldi's yesterday.
Yeah.
I used to be able to go in Aldi's and spend a hot $40, $50,
You live by yourself.
have a whole bunch of shit.
And leave happy.
Man.
I spent $21 at the store.
Well, one of my items,
All I bought was like
Aldi's
ground turkey
has-
and donuts. So.
Aldi's has a good salmon, a good fresh salmon, low key, that people don't know about. You sleeping on it, but the salmon by itself was $20. It's never
Red August.
frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, packaged up real nice.
Last time you went out and bought some salmon.
What's wrong with
You
buying
don't-
salmon?
Nothing. That's just rich folk stuff. Hey,
No, it's
smooth,
not.
smooth,
It's
smooth.
people that care about what they put in their body stuff.
That's why I buy ground turkey.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, the flood said Papa Bear is the late night spot. He said very cool answers, guys, as it relates to his question.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
who's
No,
just said
appreciate
facts.
appreciate the topics.